So out here, what I had told you yesterday was that you can use the driver.findElement command and you can identify the objects by ID or by name, and you can fire the function on it. The send keys function will simulate typing into it, and the click function will simulate obviously clicking on the element. Okay, now I told you that not every element can be having an ID or a name. Okay, we were investigating certain elements. Okay, we were on this URL. Hold on, let me run this. Right, and if you investigate this, this is the username field. Okay, and it's got a name, it's got a ID, it's easy to identify it. Okay, not every element would be having ID or name. So what we do, we use XPaths in order to identify those elements. Okay. Now, what do you mean by XPaths? All right, I'll make a new project and I'll explain you XPaths in that. All right, I'll create a new file known as xpaths.txt. Okay, and we will define XPaths in this. Fine, now there are two types of XPaths. One is known as complete XPath, and the other is known as partial XPath. Okay, complete XPath is also known as absolute. Okay, now what is complete XPath or absolute XPath? Right, suppose you have this link home. Okay, if you want to make a complete XPath for this link, then if you look at the page source, everything is starting from HTML tag. Okay, you hit Control F of the keyboard and Control F. Make sure the control is inside this editor, okay, the inspector, and you hit Control F of the keyboard and a text field, this text field where I'm writing, this text field will come up. Fine. So the first tag in which you of the root of the page is the HTML tag. I'll type HTML. So see this tag is highlighted. Under this HTML tag, there is a head tag and a body tag. You want to go inside the body tag because somewhere inside the body tag, the tag of your interest, that is the home link, is present. Okay, so You don't want to go inside the head tag. You want to go inside the body tag. So you will write HTML slash body. Okay. Inside the body tag, there is a div tag over here. And this is the first division tag. This is the second division tag. These are parallel to each other. So there are multiple division tags which are parallel to each other. You want to go inside the first one. So you will write slash div bracket 1. Okay, you want to go in the second one. This is the first one. You want to go in the second one. So you will write slash div 2. Okay, inside the second division tag, there is another division. And under this division somewhere there is an anchor tag A. So inside the second division tag, there are multiple division and other tags. You want to go inside the first division tag. Okay, ultimate goal is to reach this anchor tag. Okay, so you want to go inside the first one, right? So div 1. Okay, under this first division tag, there is an anchor tag, there is a span tag, there is a division tag, and then there is a UL tag. Okay, and you want to go inside this UL tag, right? So you will write slash. There is just one UL tag, so it doesn't matter if you can simply write UL. Had there been one or two UL tags or three UL tags, you should have been using a bracket. Okay, and under this UL tag, you have a LI tag, and you have got multiple LI tags. You want to go inside the first LI tag, which holds the anchor tag link. So slash li bracket 1 and slash anchor tag. So you have reached the anchor tag of the home link. Okay, so you can actually go and copy this XPath and put it here. Fine, I'll just add the Selenium jars in the project. Okay, so you put this dynamic browsers here, and after reaching this web page, okay, what you can do is you can give the command driver dot find element by the XPath. Okay, and you give the complete XPath over here. Dot click. So when you run this, you see that it clicks on the home link. Right. Now, the thing is, if you want to calculate the complete XPath, you should not be following such a long procedure anytime. Right. You just move the mouse over the element, investigate the element. Okay, when the element is, uh, you know, highlighted in the page source. You see this element is highlighted in the page source. You right click on the element, go to copy and go to copy full XPath. Okay, so you can copy the XPaths from the browser itself. Okay, right. So for any element, okay, suppose you want to get the XPath for this button, get code, right? This is the one, and you can simply right click, copy full XPath. Okay, so this way you can have your complete XPaths or full XPaths generated. But we don't prefer to use complete XPaths. Okay, the reason is very simple. The reason is that if something gets added in between tomorrow, at maybe at the root of the element, right? Something gets added, then not just one, all my complete XPaths will go to a toss. Okay, will go for a toss because obviously, if something is added in between, all the XPaths will change, and then you'll have to change your code. So it's risky to use these. Okay, but these are very accurate. They start from the root of the document and they go to the element. Okay, these are very accurate, but we don't prefer to use them. If you have no choice, you can use them as well. But if the application changes, then they can change by a huge margin. Okay, so you have to be a little careful. Fine. So what we use is the partial XPath. Partial XPath is something which starts with double slash. For example, double slash star. This means all elements on the web page, whether it is a link, a button, anything. Okay, if you open the browser, hold on. Yes, yeah. If you open the browser and inspect, and if I just write this XPath, double slash star, so it means that one of 206 it is writing over here. That means there are 206 elements on the web page tags. Okay, so you can go for one tag at a time. Okay, but of course we don't use this double slash star. Okay, what we do is that in order to calculate the complete XPath, you can investigate the web page and you can look at this sign in text field. Okay, and this is the sign in text field. Input tag, right? And you just right click on it and go to copy XPath. When you go to copy full XPath, you get the absolute XPath. But when you write copy XPath, you get the partial XPath, and the partial XPath It looks like this. Okay, basically means double slash star. This means all the elements on the web page. Okay, so it's basically saying that out of all the elements on the web page, get me the element whose ID is a user email. Okay, right. So this is what the partial XPath is. Out of all the elements on the web page, get me the element whose ID is a user email. So you can use this partial XPath as well in the code. Right. So you just need to write I and this, that is driver dot find element by the XPath, and you can give the partial XPath. Instead of double quotes in the XPath, you can put single quotes. Right, dot send keys. Hello. So when you run this code, you see that? Right. So this basically means that instead of using the full XPaths, you can prefer to use the partial XPaths. Okay, the partial XPaths will be, uh, shorter, and even if the root of the element changes, anything changes on the root of the web page, okay, you don't need to worry. Okay, so uh, if you look at, say, this link, forgot password. Okay, so this is the link, right? If you right click on this link and copy the XPath, so I've copied the partial XPath. So what I get is something like this. So what is this? Let us analyze. See, basically what happens is that it got this link. Now this link had no ID, so it jumped one tag above into this div tag, and it found that fine, this div tag is also not having any ID. So it jumped over to its parent tag, which is this division tag, which has an ID as well. So it started building the XPath from this division tag. That is, there is an element whose ID is password division. Under that, there is a first division, and then under a name anchor tag. Okay, since this anchor tag has got no ID, all right, so the partial XPath starts from the nearest element having an ID. Okay, right. Anyone with any questions?
Yeah, Ashish. For partial XPath, ID should be there, or is any other like fields or whatever the element?
For a partial XPath, Chrome, it builds the partial XPath based on the ID. If the ID is not there, it brings out the nearest element having an ID and starts building the XPath from there.
Okay, that means it's based on the browser,
No, not on browser.
but
The
you
ID will remain same on all the browsers. If I run this script on Mozilla, it's going to work. Look, the page source remains, see it's working, it typed hello. The page source remains same across all the browsers.
okay, but you mentioned like Chrome builds on the ID. That's why I got the doubt.
No,
Now
yeah,
I'm clear.
Chrome,
Yeah.
but the page source is same, right, across all the browsers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And
this
another
page
question.
source, yeah,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, this page source is the server response actually. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Another question is instead of username, if we have some kind of name, just a name, and it is more than one places the name is there, then how this will help?
yeah. That's something I'm going to cover in coming classes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank
right.
you.
Yeah. So if you look at this text, if I want to extract this text, your email address, it's a H4 tag. It's got no ID. If I copy this text, XPath, right click copy XPath, then I get this XPath. Starts building an XPath from element whose ID is login, which is this one. From this form tag, it starts because this form tag has an ID and it traverses down to this H4 tag. So if you have to extract this text, you can simply write the command driver.find element by the XPath of this text dot get text. Okay, and you will get the text from the browser. Okay, and you can print the text. When you run the code, see on Mozilla as well, this script is running and it is bringing me the text. So basically, you can make the script or investigate the web page on Chrome and you can make it run on any browser. You can also investigate it on Firefox. You just need to right click on the element in Firefox and you'll get the option inspect. The process is more or less the same, but I am more habitual to Chrome browser. Okay, right. Now, uh, if you look at Guys, just give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay. I just hold on. I'll be back. I have some problem in my tooth. Hold on. I'll be back. Yeah, okay. I'm back. Right. So I've shared my screen. So this is the partial X path, which is pointing towards this H4 tag. Fine. Okay. Now, um, if you look at, say, the top link over here, rediff.com. All right. If I copy the or hold on, this is CNN. Just a minute, guys. Yeah, suppose this is the rediff.com logo. If I investigate, then this is the logo. If I copy the XPath, the partial XPath for this, what happens is that, to my surprise, I get the full XPath. I don't get the partial XPath. The reason is that between this span tag and the HTML tag, there is no element which has an ID. So it keeps on traversing upwards and it tries to find the nearest element with an ID, but there is no nearest element with an ID. So it starts building the XPath from this HTML tag. So please make sure that when or uh, make sure that if you're getting the full XPath when you're calculating the partial XPath, then it's not able to find any ID. Okay, so this is the thing. But yes, this XPath is very accurate. Okay, now this was a little bit about XPaths. Okay, we will be using XPaths continuously and rigorously during the entire training. Okay, right. So it's very easy. You just need to right click on the element. Any element, say this input, right click, copy, XPath. Okay, right. Now, what if the element of your choice is not present on the web page itself. Say I'm getting the text out of that label, your email address, and this is the XPath I'm using, and I put a capital X in front of the ID. So this ID would not be a valid ID. So when you run this, you'll observe that immediately you get an exception, and that exception is no such element exception. Unable to locate the element, this element. But sometimes what happens is that even after the page has loaded, the element takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds for to be properly and fully loaded on the web page. But what happens is that as soon as Selenium reaches the web page, it tries to extract the element within fraction of a second, and if it is not able to extract the element, it throws this error. But you want it to wait for a while. So one solution is that you can write thread maybe dot sleep for 5,000 milliseconds, which is 5 seconds. Okay, but we don't prefer to use this. This is like mandatorily pausing the program. Even if the element appears in the second, okay, or the third second, then also it will simply wait for 5 seconds. Okay, so we don't prefer to use, although it's using thread.sleep in program is not bad. If you're using once or twice, it's okay. But we don't prefer to use it out here. Out here, what we do is we use something known as implicit wait. Okay, what is implicit wait? It's like a global timeout. Okay, what do you mean by global timeout? As soon as I launch the browser, before I reach the website, I'll give the command driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicitly wait, and you can write duration of seconds 20. Say this is a single line driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicit wait, and duration is a class of seconds, a static function inside it. So you give the command that wait maximum for 20 seconds for an element. Okay, so this command has got two effects. First of all, it is dynamic wait. If the element is usable in the third second or the fifth second, this command says that please use it and move forward. Don't wait mandatorily for 20 seconds. Throw the error after 20 seconds. And the second advantage is that it is applicable all driver.find element commands, not just one, to all driver.find element commands. Okay, and whether you're finding element with ID or name or XPath, anything. So this is a dynamic wait, and it is applicable to all the driver.find element commands. And when you run this, now you see that It hasn't thrown any error as of now. After 20 seconds, okay, till 20 seconds, it'll keep on polling the web page. Okay, even after 20 seconds, it doesn't find and then it throws this exception. Had the element appeared in the 10th second, this one, it would have used it. Okay, so implicit wait is very important. As soon as you open the browser, at that time only, you give this implicit wait command. Okay, so that a global timeout is set, and then you do your normal coding, whatever logics you have to write, you can write. Okay, anyone with any questions in this? Anything, right? So please make it a habit to give implicit wait. All right. Now we have seen how to identify the elements with ID, name, X paths, right? You can also use, sorry, you can also use link text, right? For example, for this home, if there is a link, you can directly use link text home. You can write driver dot find element by the link text. Make sure the link text is exactly same as which is there on the web page. Okay, and when you run this, see it clicks on home. But you have to be very careful. Okay, look, the thing is, I'll tell you, even if you're finding element with ID or name or link text, okay, what if there are two elements on the web page? One is over here and one is over here. Okay, the two elements can have the same ID or same name or same link text. Okay, right. What if the parameters are same for both the objects on the web page? And you want to click on the second one, but somehow the click will go on the first one because when Selenium, it scans the page, it goes from the left side to the right side and it goes to the bottom of the web page. So if you have two elements and both the elements they have the same ID or the same name or the same link text, then Selenium uses the first one. It will use this one and this one will not be used. Okay, so there are ways to use the second one as well, which I will tell you. Okay, but Selenium scans the page from left to right side and goes to the bottom. So if two elements have the same link text, then Selenium will use the first one. So you have to be make sure, especially in case of link text, that there is just one link on the web page with this particular text. Okay, and if there are two elements on the page with same ID, this should not happen because ID and name are supposed to be unique. If two different elements on the web page have same ID or name, you can talk to the developer and tell him that something is wrong. Please correct this because the two elements on the web page cannot have same ID or same name. Right. Now we are good. We have basically launched the browser. We have put up an implicit wait and we are able to find the element with ID, name, link text, partial link text, complete link text, sorry, partial XPath, complete XPath. Okay, most of the times in the training, 99% of the times, we will be using the partial XPath. Okay, right. All right. So the next thing is not Selenium, which we need to learn. The next thing is the concept of inheritance in Java language. Okay, so we'll be studying inheritance. Okay, and we'll see what it is and how is it actually going to help us. It's going to help us in many ways during the training. Okay, right. But guys, I'll take that tomorrow. Honestly, I'm not so well, okay, with my tooth. Okay, I know it's like how am I taking the class right now, but I think by tomorrow or in a day or so, I should be fine. Okay, so I'll stop here. If you have any questions, you can please ask me. My tooth is actually troubling me a lot. I had an extraction, right? So on the weekend on Sunday. Anybody with any questions? Anything? Please ask me. No questions. Right. I'll
Ashish,
mail you. Yeah.